Right, so Asymmetric Part 1. Here we are flying along straight and level, and the first thing we're going to look at is the effect of the engine failure, the visual effects, okay? So, pick a feature on the nose, we've got the cliffs in front of us. I'll retard the left power lever. We see yaw to the left, then we see roll to the left, and eventually we get more yaw, more roll, and it goes into a spiral dive. I'll get rid of the asymmetry, roll the wings level, and then pitch back up. I'll bring it back around to the cliffs, put some more power on, 120 knots. We'll have a look the other way now. If I retard the right power lever, we see yaw, we see roll, we see pitch. I get rid of the asymmetry, problem goes away, I can roll wings level and bring it back up towards the horizon. So that's what it looks visually, lads.
Very sudden.
Yeah, it happens quite quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But now we're going to take a look at the symptoms shown to you on instruments. So in particular, we're going to be looking at the slip ball. We're going to be looking at the artificial horizon showing the roll. We're going to be looking at the HSI showing the turn, and we're going to be looking at the altimeter showing the descent in the spiral dive. So no need to put the hood on or anything like that. We'll again pick a feature on the nose. We've got a nice cloud and a good line feature to follow here, and I'll bring the powers back to something sensible. If I retard the right power lever, ball goes out, roll, turn, descent. Get rid of the asymmetry, roll back to wings level, and recover back. There, we'll check one more time now, so this time we'll go the other way on instruments. Ball out, roll, turn, descent. Get rid of the asymmetry, roll, back to wings level, recover. So that's the symptoms of the engine failure shown visually and on instruments. Of course, when I fail an engine, the engine instrumentations, when we simulate it, are just going to show idle. If a real engine failure occurred, that should show a red cross through it. But we can't show that yet until we shut the engine down. Any questions on the symptoms of the engine failure? Right, I'm going to hand control back to you now with the rudder only. So you have the rudder, I have everything else. And let's pick a feature. Tell you what, we've got a nice feature out there. We've got the chimneys of Port Talbot. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Steelworks, and we've got Port Call on the nose.
Yeah.
So, I will point us out towards there. I'm going to bring back an engine. I'm going to tell you which one I'm bringing back, and you're going to feed in the rudder to keep the aircraft pointing towards the steelworks for me.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to bring back the left power lever. So you're going to have to feed in right rudder. Here we go.
Yep. Okay.
That's nice. I'm going to bring the power back up. You're going to keep the aircraft pointing towards Port Talbot. Just going to duck down a little bit.
Cromwell 3-1, codified off after message.
Cromwell 3-1 has just exited low level. We're going to be transiting over sea to enter Cromwell. Currently at 1,500 feet.
Here we go again. We've got faster speed now. I'll bring back the right power lever. You'll feed in the left rudder. Keep the aircraft straight. And as the aircraft starts to decelerate, you're going to find you're going to need more rudder.
Yep, I don't have any more rudder.
And more strength. You can feel that leg shaking already.
Oh,
you
yeah.
hold it in. Got a bit more rudder there. And now the slower the speed, the more pressure required. Try and hold that with your left leg now.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite a lot of force.
Alright, I'll feed in the power back. You can keep the aircraft straight. Good stuff. Right, relax.
Okay.
What I'm going to do now is exactly the same, but I'm not going to tell you which power lever I'm going to fail. I'm going to just bring back a power lever, and you're going to keep the aircraft straight by pointing out towards the mumbles for me, towards the land on the nose.
Cardiff Scout 1.
And I want you to then not only control the engine failure, but I want you to tell me which engine has failed by saying leg dead,
Somebody will give them a call.
engine dead.
Okay.
Okay,
Now, traffic service.
Traffic service, Scout 1.
here we go.
Okay. Right leg dead, right engine failed.
Right leg dead, right engine dead.
Right engine dead.
Okay, power back up, keep the aircraft straight. So yeah, right leg dead, right engine dead, left leg dead, left engine dead. Here we go again.
Okay, that's right leg dead, right engine dead.
Good, I'll bring the power back. Here we go again.
Left leg dead, left engine dead.
Good.
Hard to think when you're trying to push 100 kilograms on your
Yeah,
right leg.
yeah.
Oh, whatever.
It can be up to 150
Scout 1,
pounds.
no response.
Oh, okay.
Then you can remain on this
And
frequency.
one more time.
would you, in which case we'll just come left a little bit to track
Right leg dead, right engine dead.
Good. Right. Relax, I have control.
Go for that, you have control.
Right, next thing we're going to look at is the effect of engine failures in the turn.
Okay.
So this is going to be a demonstration once more. We can give you a break. I'll just gain a little bit more altitude for this one. Give a good look out now. Yeah. Okay, I'll start a turn to the left. Typical manoeuvring speed, 120 knots. And up to about 30 degrees. I'm going to fail the inboard engine. Okay, so we're already rolling, we're already banked. If I fail the inboard engine, it happens quickly. Yaw, roll, and then spiral dive. Close the power levers, recover, and back to that turn. I'll set up that turn again. 30 degrees angle of bank at typical manoeuvring speed. This time, if I fail the outboard engine, nothing really happens, it goes wings level. Then you get the yaw to the other side, and the roll, and the spiral dive. Power levers idle, roll wings level, and recover back. So, we'll gain a little bit more altitude. I'm going to get you to put the aircraft into a turn. I'm going to get you to then counteract the effect of the engine failure and to roll wings level, so to stop the manoeuvre once we've got the engine failure happen, okay?
Okay.
And then when you're ready, I'd like you to set the aircraft up in a medium level turn to the left.
To the left. Roger that.
Okay, look out the window. I'm going to fail an engine. I want you to control the engine failure and roll wings level. So stop the yaw, level the wings.
Okay.
Here we go.
Stop the door, level the wings.
Scout 1, try to terminate from platform
right leg dead, right engine failed.
Good, I'm going to bring the power back.
119.480 for Scout 1. Thanks very much for the service.
And if you could make a medium level turn to the right now, please.
Okie dokie.
Once again, I'm going to give you an engine failure. I'd like you to stop the yaw, level the wings, tell me which engine's failed.
Okay.
Camera 3-1, Roger, bye-bye.
Okay, that is right leg dead, right engine failed.
Nicely done. I'm going to give you both engines back, keep them straight. Yep, that was nicely handled, Steve. Just remember to control the aircraft before you've identified it.
Right,
No
yes.
rush to tell me which engine has failed.
Roger that.
Roll wings level first. Okay, we'll do a medium level turn to the left again, please.
Okie dokie.
I'm going to fail an engine, look out the window, stop the yaw, level the wings, and then tell me which engine's failed.
Okay. That's left leg dead, left engine dead.
Good. Both engines back. And a turn to the right for me, please. Medium level turn. Once again, control and identify. Here we go.
Right leg dead, right engine dead.
Very nice. I'll give you both engines back. And I have control. Relax.
I have control, thank you.
Do you see the island on the nose in front of you?
Yes.
That's Lundy. That's the feature we're going to use for the next exercising. Okay, if you're happy. Yep. What we're going to do now is to have a look at the effect of speed and power when controlling the aircraft under asymmetric power. So we're going to look at failing the left engine first of all, which of course, as you know from the theory classes, is the critical engine. So looking over the nose, we're on a westerly heading. I'd like you to keep the aircraft straight. Notice that we're at approximately 120 knots with 60-ish% power on, okay? 120 knots, 60% power.
Do I have the stick as well?
I've got the stick and the power, you've just got the rudder pedals for now, okay? 120 knots, keep Lundy on the nose.
Okay.
Left engine has failed. Critical engine has failed. So 120 knots, 60% power, Lundy's on the nose. Seamlessly quite easy, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, that's not too bad. I'm now going to start reducing the speed back towards blue line. You're now going to have to start increasing the foot load on the right pedal to keep Lundy on the nose.
I've noticed.
So, speed is coming back, 95 knots, 10 knots to go. Less dynamic force over the rudder now.
Yep.
You're having to work harder, correct?
Correct.
You told me on the ground that your right leg was the stronger leg.
Well,
That's looking okay. 85 knots, 60% power, you've still got Lundy on the nose.
yeah.
Now I'm going to start feeding in more power. So, keep Lundy on the nose. Full power now towards on the live engine. Good.
That's challenging.
Now, how long do you think you can hold that for?
20 seconds max, probably.
So, 100% power, blue line, that's worst case scenario, okay?
Right, yep.
Emergency recovery technique. I have control now.
You have control.
Get rid of the asymmetry, lower the nose. We just become a glider. Speed's above blue line. I've got rid of the asymmetry. I can start to now rebuild and come back on both engines symmetrically to 60% power, back to our well-known speed of 120 knots. And Lundy's still on the nose. Well done. We haven't gone 180 degrees left or right.
No.
How did that feel?
Awful.
Right, now we're going to give your left leg a workout now. So, here we are. I have the stick again and I have the power levers. It's your rudder pedals, please. So I'm going to now fail the right engine, which is not the critical engine. So in theory, this should be slightly easier. But if you're saying your right leg is the dominant one, then it probably won't be any easier. So, 120 knots, 60% power. I fail the right engine. You feed in the rudder. Good. Lundy's on the nose, 120 knots, 60% power. How's that?
Awful.
Already awful?
Yep.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to start raising the nose to come back towards blue line speed of 85 knots. Again, keep Lundy on the nose for me.
Yep. I suspect my leg might fail, but let's try it.
If you need a bit of assistance, just let me know.
Roger.
Right, 85 knots, 60% power. How does that feel?
That's terrible.
Okay, now I'm going to feed in more power. Keep
Yep.
Lundy on the nose for me.
Let's see. Oh, that's all I've got.
Hold it there. That's not bad. You got a bit more rudder to play with.
Oh, that's better.
How does that feel?
Oh, I can't feel my leg anymore. So
Okay, relax, I have control.
you have control.
Right, here we are. Obviously I wouldn't be able to maintain this much longer than 60 seconds. So if I couldn't, emergency recovery. Get rid of the asymmetric power. Lower the nose. Get speed building. And now start to symmetrically bring up the power levers. Climb away. So the moral of the story is,
Don't skip leg day.
Yep. And less speed.
Or rudder needed.
Or rudder. Right. I'm going to get you to do that now again, but
Okay.
this time you're going to have control of the stick, and you're going to have control of the power.
Okay.
And we're going to give your left leg a break now. You're going to work your right leg for me.
Okay.
Right. What I'd like you to do is fail the critical engine for me.
For the left engine? Okay.
A firm.
Just with the power lever.
A firm.
Okay, so left engine is failed.
And keep Port Talbot on the nose. 120 knots. So you're now going to have to lower the nose, aren't you, to maintain 120
Yes.
knots if we leave the power alone. Now you can leave that hand alone now. You can come off the throttles a moment.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd like you now to start gently raising the nose to come back towards blue line speed.
Okay. Now I can feel that rudder pressure increasing.
When you get to blue line speed, you may then have to lower the nose to maintain it. I can see Port Albert just drifting out to the right, so a bit more rudder.
More rudder, that's what we like. That's
There you go, blue line. Now you might have to lower the nose to maintain 85 knots. Now I'd like you to start feeding power on the right engine,
okay.
and therefore feeding more right rudder in. Maintaining blue line.
Oh, that's a lot of rudder pressure.
Hold it there. How long could you hold that for?
Like a couple of seconds.
Okay, emergency recovery technique, please.
Okay. Power off, nose down. And build up speed. And ease the power in and nose up.
Excellent. So if you ever get into difficulty, you can close both power levers and lower the nose. And just level off there for me, please, Steve, where you're at now.
Okay.
Obviously, you can only employ that technique if you've got height below you, though, to do that. That wouldn't be possible on takeoff, would it?
No.
So this is why we need to be able to initially hold
runway 25,
rudder with 100% power on the live engine and climb away.
Okay, that's pretty much settled now.
Okay, I'm going to fail an engine.
Okay.
I'd like you to control, identify, and then we're going to shut the engine down. So remember the drill: control, identify, full power on the live engine if required, gear up, flap up, retard the power lever on the failed engine, engine master switch off. And you can give it 20 seconds or so at idle before you turn the engine master switch off.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I think so. Okay, that's left leg dead, left engine dead. 120 knots, we need more power on the right. Now we retard the throttle on the left. Oh, sorry, gear down.
Gear up. Flap.
Sorry, gear up, flap up. Right, and now as close as I can get to 120 knots.
Yeah, and now the power lever
Throttle
effective
back.
side idle,
Yes.
and then turn that engine off.
Left engine, master off.
Okay. Now, check that the aircraft is flying sensibly.
Yeah. roughly.
4,700 feet on the heading you told me, which is great.
Yeah.
Now the alternator can go off.
Alternator, left engine off.
Then the fuel can go off, touch drill only.
Touch drill only on the fuel, off.
And now you can trim.
Now I can trim with the rudder, yep.
A firm.
Oh, that's miles better.
There we go. Now you can get a bit of assistance from the trim tab.
Now I've let my speed.
And look at that. Bang on heading, bang on altitude. That was very good for a first engine shutdown. And Swansea Bay straight in front of us.
Quite a lot to think about, isn't there? Do and push.
Yeah. Yeah, remember, gear up, flap up to get rid of the drag items, because if they're down, we won't be able to maintain the
Yes,
speed.
of course, yeah.
You won't maintain 120 knot single engine, so you can look after the live engine now. So on the live engine, what would be a sensible power to come back to?
With 90%.
Yeah, climb power, 90%.
Oh, sorry, I've pushed the other one back as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll knock that up to stop the horn. Right, let's have a look at what's going on. The dead engine, which is quite clearly the left engine, it's got the axes on the load, the RPM, it's all shut down. Go into the system page. Amps, the alternator's not producing any current. The fuel, on the left engine there is no fuel flow, which would make sense. The right engine's the one that's feeding the right tank now.
Sweet, yes.
Alright, we're going to do the engine restart now. It just so happens that I have marked that checklist for you there, and I'd like you to read and do, maintaining this heading and altitude until you get ready to commence the dive.
Okay, no problem. Right, so engine restart checklist. Airspeed for Windmill, 125 to 145, that comes later. Power for the affected engine is idle. Do you want me to idle it now? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. I don't know why I expected a rudder change then. Fuel selector for the affected engine, on. It is on. Alternate air as required, not required today. Alternator for the affected engine, turn on.
Left alternator.
Left
fail.
alternator fail. Just cancel that. And get back on my heading. Oh, and I'm descending. Sorry about that. Engine master for the affected engine, on.
Now before you do that, get the speed
We need the
that
speed.
you require.
Okay, so into a dive.
Yeah. And we want 125 knots before you put that engine master switch back on.
Roger that. There's 125 knots, so master on.
Push.
And engine is started.
Right, now you can stop the descent.
Stop
We can
descent.
just leave it idle for 20 seconds.
Here.
Just level off there now. Yes, help yourself to trim. I've remembered all the figures, I've jotted them down anyway.
Roger that.
Put that ball in the middle.
Shall I cancel the beeping?
We'll just let it warm up for 20 seconds, give it a chance.
Yeah, of course.
When it's had 20 seconds, which is about now you can bring the power lever back up to about 20% to stop the horn. And just let it warm up for a minute. Right, complete the rest of the checklist.
Okay, just get myself settled. There we are. Engine started. Power on the affected engine moderate. It is. Engine instruments check green range. So left is green, left is green. Cooling temp is not in the green.
Yeah, so that's still
low.
coming up, isn't it? Because we've had the engine shut down and it's quite cold up here. It's only 5 degrees.
Okay.
That's going to take a bit more time to come up.
Okay, fuel temp is okay.
Let's have a look at the system page. Gearbox temperature is all good. Volts and amps are back online. The coolant is the last thing that we're waiting for. And that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because it's been shut down in cold air.
Of course.
But you'll watch now, this coolant temperature won't take long at all to come. There it is. It's come back into the green range already.
Excellent. Okay. And circuit breakers checked. Nothing popped. Looks good. And that is the engine restart checklist complete.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like you to turn left for me, please. Back out towards Port Talbot.
Okay.
You are approaching Port Talbot Steelworks. This is your home base, Cardiff, isn't it?
Yep, that's right.
I'd like you to return the aircraft back to Cardiff so I can demonstrate an asymmetric landing for you.
Okay.
You're talking to radar, you're under a basic service, and I haven't got any ATIS information for you. It's all down to you now, Steve.
All down to me. No crumbs, right? Oh, okay. Right, well, first
Down wet, midpoint wet, stop end wet. Cardiff, information, Tango, time 1120.
Cardiff radar, Area 62.
Area 62, pass message.
Area 62 is just east of Port Talbot, descending to 2,500 feet. Request to be joined by a St. Hilary.
Area 62, roger, remain outside controlled airspace, runway 30, QNH 1013.
Remain outside, runway 30 and 1013, QNH, Area 62. Cardiff Tower, Area 62, just approaching junction 36, 1,300 feet.
Area 62, Cardiff Tower, good morning again. Sorry, good afternoon. Clear to under control airspace, published St. Hilary, arrival VFR, not above altitude 1,500 feet on the Calican H1013.
Aviator second.
That's it.
You said 90% power, yeah, to maintain?
Yeah, about 90% power.
Yeah, stick it there for now. Get myself trimmed and sorted.
Area 62, Translator, copy.
Air 62 clears the VFR St. Hilary arrival, not about 1,500 feet on the QNH 1013 Air 62.
Area 62, read back is correct.
And there you go, there's a good lesson learnt for you, Steve. Aviate, navigate, communicate.
62, once inside control airspace, join the report, downwind right hand, runway 30.
Join and report, downwind right hand for runway 30, Air 62.
And there's the junction, and we can head towards St. Hilary.
Yeah, and as I say, there's a good lesson for you there. Aviate, navigate, communicate. Finish the level off, trim it out, get it back to the cruisy, navigate, get to junction 36. You only need clearance in by this point here, which is the 1500 foot shelf. You can go at 1300 feet underneath this, because this shelf here, the controlled airspace is at 2000 feet, and I can show you that on the moving map. The base is at 2000 feet, the top is at flight level 105.
Air 62, downwind.
Area 62, report final, runway 30, number 1.
Report final, number 1, Air 62.
Right then, I'm going to set a reminder that by 520 feet, if I'm not stable, lads, one of you can call unstable go around. 520 feet, the Garmin will tell me when I've achieved 520 feet. We have called final, and he's cleared us to report final number 1, has he not?
He has.
I have control.
You have control.
Relax, and we'll see if I get the approach stable when we are up 520 feet. We'll make a decision whether we're going to land or go around. Pre-landing checks are complete. The only items on hold are the gear and the flap. The reason we're not putting the gear and the flap down now is because if we put the gear and the flap down now with 105 knots and 82% on the live engine, we're going to drag the aircraft up and we're not going to be able to maintain level flight with single engine operation. Okay? Obviously at some point when I put the gear down, we need to make sure that the power on the failed engine has come back to 11%. So I'll do that now, and we'll just live with the horn momentarily until we're ready to commit to the circuit. Okay, I think that's about the right position. Speed checked, gear down. Gear down, 3 greens, horn has been silenced. Bring the power back to about 60%. Speed checked, flap approach. Flap approach is set. The pre-landing checks are now complete. I'm going now to target the same speeds that we normally do for 2 engine circuits. 95 knots, but my power setting is going to be very different now. We've got 60% on the live engine, setting myself up for a rate of descent typically of around about 400 or 500 feet per minute, trimming in both pitch and yaw. Good luck on final, nothing there. How's that profile looking? That's looking about right. Speed 95 knots, power setting 60%. I see I'm slightly high. I'll just lower the nose slightly and take a bit of power off. There's 1 red, I'm happy with that, and 2 reds, 2 whites. Okay, so now my job is to maintain 2 reds, 2 whites, turn on to the final approach path.
62, final 30. Area 62, runway 30, clear to land, surface wind 260 degrees, 12 knots.
Clear to land, runway 30, Area 62.
260 at 12 knots. I've got about 10 knots from the left. Right, final checks. Gears down, 3 greens. Flaps approach, I'm going to hold flap approach for now. Altimeters set and cross-checked 1013. The runway's clear, we've got clearance received, and I like the look of that approach. We're on the centre line, we're on the correct glide path. The speed is sensible.
Minimums.
Landing. My decision is I'm landing. I'm going to look at my speed and I'm going to decide, am I hot or am I slow? I think I'm about right for single engine, 90 knots. I'm going to leave approach flap for now. May not even take landing flap. The rudder's now the rudder trim tab's come into neutral, and I'm holding the fourth on the pedal. Speed checked, landing flap. Holding the attitude, right fuel low disregard. Both power levers are now mine in the flare. Power's going to idle. Right rudder. Left aileron. Centre line regained. Slowly braking.
62, vacate left to hotel.
Vacate left hotel, 062.
And of course, if we were actually asymmetric, I wouldn't be able to vacate the runway because one engine taxiing on a light twin wouldn't be possible. Store heat fail, acknowledged. The right fuel low is just the fuel sloshing in the tank.